Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo buddhaya, namo dhammaya, namo sankhaya. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome back. Today is Sunday the 1st. Happy New Year to everyone. Let me brighten this up so we can see TikTok a little better here. And present with me is Austin. He'll be leaving this Wednesday. I wanted to take this opportunity to have Austin sit in so that I can unleash all of the programs for 2023 for all of you to look forward to. And we have a lot of exciting news that has been in the works, but now today I'm going to be unleashing it just because I had to wait. Again, everyone is aware that there's a lot of rules that I have to follow. This is the one and only, the original, the School of the Elders. Very strict, very conservative, 227 rules on top of all sorts of rules you don't even want to know, according to the Vinaya, the rules for monks. So therefore, I had to, number one, put up the red tape and then take down the red tape and then wait for any senior teachers waiting for objections in regards to my programs and see if anyone has anything to say about it. Anyone object? Anyone think that it is not ethical, or you object because this is not the heritage of the bhikkhus? Historically, I mean, this is all these factors in there, right? Austin today will serve as a witness to what I'm saying. And usually I was going to have a bunch of more students in a bigger and larger room, but because it's post New Year, what do you think? People are still recovering, and most of my students are millennials and Gen Zoomers, so therefore we're gonna let them recover from last night's celebration. So just to show the humanness of the students, the demographic of the students of my program. Austin is going to be going Wednesday, and he's going to be locked into his program in hope to graduate down the road as a nurse practitioner. So I have to go over there to see him because he's going to be locked in. Everyone knows that long-term programs like that, So his presence here, his gracious presence here is rare and unique and necessary when I'm announcing such things. And the reason why I decided to unleash tonight was because of what you said to me during our guided meditation, that peace that you felt. And I realized that more people need to actually feel it, experience it.
Yeah.
And so much time has gone by for those who have been following me over the past, so many years. And because of those so many years, I think that you all should consider being present for some of the programs and not just look over a screen anymore, because it just doesn't do it justice. You got to be here. You got to experience it. You have to, you try to participate in what we're doing, the ordination program, the guided meditations, everything that has transpired live over the past 5 straight years. So let's first talk about the emergency ordination program. Let's first describe the problem and why we need it. Last year, the review of last year served as evidence for all of us to see what has been unfolding in the United States, right? So in case you all don't know or not well informed, we have leadership issues, political issues. We have violence unlike any other place in the world, with gun violence across all the major cities in the U.S. We got children now shooting law enforcement like it's the cowboy days. They're shooting with law enforcement like it's paintball or airsoft wars, but except with 9mm. We're seeing more murder-suicides. We're seeing people in positions of public trust, including former police officers, judges, lawyers, off the chain, off the chain. People who took an oath to protect us, people who swear that they would uphold the law, like those two lawyers who threw Molotov cocktails at NYPD car during the thing, the Capitol building in DC. You had a retired judge come down here, right here in Florida, Polk County, engaging in prostitution. Recently, we had a rash of former police officers and active police officers engaging in very unethical conduct regarding sex, catfishing people, murders, suicides. We had two police officers, two sheriff deputies here in Florida who it just went south, and then they ended up shooting each other, and then murder suicide with three other colleagues who are also sheriff deputies. So when you reflect on what's going on in the world in the United States, and at the time of this talk, we're starting to see a rash of hike of gun violence and violence in general in Canada, of which I thought Canada was just pretty chill. And, Venerable Sarananpala resides in Canada, and he's doing his best. I mean, he's doing such a great job at expanding Buddhism in Canada. And now I just don't understand what is going on with Canada. The amount of impact that he's got in there. So we're starting to see a decline of humanity in regards to the gift of safety, the safety of our world. So it's not good, which led me to have this talk with all of you tonight, a very well thought out, something that I've been sitting on, meditating on, that sits in my head on the shelf for months and months on end. Because I'm talking to you as if the Buddha is sitting to my left, and most of you, and this is a three whatever sectional couch you can see here. Now, this seat right here is reserved for the Buddha. And if the Buddha was sitting right here, what would he want me to say, and whether what I say the Buddha would agree to and not agree to with our current circumstances here in the United States. So therefore, if there are monks out there, wherever you are, I know that senior teachers are going to look at this, and other monks and monastics and Buddhist nuns, bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, leaders, other holy men, priests, rabbis, cardinals, archbishops. And I just want you all to think about where I'm coming from, and what I'm seeing, and whether I should take action or not take action, and whether, if you're in my shoe, what you would do with this amount of influence, the power and influence that I have accumulated over time. We can see that, and furthermore, as this directly relates to secularism, the dangers of the secular world infiltrating and contaminating and proliferating in our society. The atheist world and all of these secularism that we're starting to see manifest at a very rapid rate and unprecedented speed in infecting the minds of the young, and how it is just affecting everything. Now, I one day was like, the effects of religion on criminals, or criminality and religion. I came across empirical evidence based in criminology that those who identify as atheists were more likely to commit sex crimes, violent crimes, crimes of moral turpitudes, versus those who, chose a good working philosophy and or religion. It is my standpoint, and those who are Buddhists would agree, that Buddhism is a very effective, the most effective and comprehensive educational system the world has ever seen. We got fireworks outside, so Bailey's going to join me because she's feeling safe right now with what's going on. She's shaking. Austin, why don't you tell me what's going on in California? Why don't you contribute to right now in this portion of this talk about what is happening in California, as you have lived there for how long?
Over years.
Yeah, so tell us about the crime and stuff that you observe immediately on into the streets.
Oh, compared to places such as Florida, it's a significant amount more of crime. You see a ton of homeless all over the streets. Essentially, neighborhoods of tents just lined up down the sidewalk at, especially around like Skid Row, downtown, all over us, really. So over there, it's definitely more population, more homeless, more crime. Depending on different areas and demographics, obviously, but just a lot of unsettling things going on over there. Obviously that happens everywhere, but a significant amount I've noticed, at least from my experience over there in California.
It's not pretty, folks. What we've seen, those who have the ability to pay attention, or those who are very in tune with what's happening in our society. Now, I don't really get all into the worldly affairs, but you got to know what's going on in the world and how we can do something about it effectively. Because not doing inaction constitutes injustice, right? And it's no wonder a lot of people are like, I feel useless. So this year, we need not to be useless. We need to take action. We need to contribute. We need to do something about it. And today, I'm going to tell you how you can do that. As everyone well aware that over the past 5 years on TikTok and all of the social media platforms, you guys see me in public. You guys see me going to clothing stores, giving talks in the gaming department, trying to inspire. And it's like the world has never seen a monk run around America in orange doing the things that I do. Why? To spread the message of peace. It is called public display of Buddhism and public display of meditation when you guys see me out on the beach and everything else. Again, you go back into my chronological timeline, it says it all. All of the evidence is there. And I feel that I should not wait. So Theravada in Buddhism is, we tend to kind of, I don't know, it's the Buddha wanted us to go different directions. The Buddha says, may you all go different directions and spread the teachings of the Buddha. Pursuant to this practice is, we tend to gravitate towards like the forest and find a tree and sit and relax. And when people have suffered enough, they will find us. But we have waited a little too long. We see that Buddhism has been around and other religions have been around for millennials. And we see a decline in happiness, decline in stability, decline in security, decline in everything across all measures. So therefore, if a monk has the capacity, if a monk has influential capacity, he should go out and make a mark in the world. And that's what I'm doing. And today is not about me. It's about Buddhism and how Buddhism can change America and elsewhere around the world. But right now, we don't really have to worry about the world because we have so much problems in the U.S. already. Overwhelming amount of problems. Loneliness, accumulated despair, suicide, student resiliency, dropping out, drug use, fentanyl, and you have rainbow fentanyl. That rainbow fentanyl is now what they give the kids. It's like Skittles. You take it, you die. You will see the Buddha if you're lucky. Yeah. So I have decided to, this is called, what we're doing here is called Buddhism Without Borders. Okay. That means I am very well aware of the 227 rules. I'm very well aware of senior teachers who are on the other side watching all of this unfold. And they're just like, we don't know what's happening over there in America. We don't know what on earth Qidao is doing. But it obviously, it raises eyebrows. But that's okay too. All of the monastics who are watching, that we have one life to live. And we have our one chance right now to make an impact in the world. We know that Mahasi Sayadaw, most venerable Mahasi Sayadaw, liberated on or about 250,000 people into stream entry. The question and challenge for all of us monastics is that how are we leading people into Buddhism and into the small details of giving them the precepts, ordaining them? How do we get them to connect back to themselves, not far further away from themselves? How do we get them to commit, to dedicate, to make a promise to themselves in the presence of other people that they will try their best not to do harm to themselves and or harm to other people? That is sila nusati, and giving the precept, the 5 precepts, the 8 precepts, and the 10 precepts. Therefore, I know that I've been talking about leaving the country, but again, no ticket has been purchased yet. And it's, to me, it's just still a little bit, there's some things that need to be resolved before that takes place. Sit down, Bailey. Sit. So
he said I have to move out of California due to the crime.
Can you read that out loud, Austin?
Someone mentioned on one of the lives that I have to move out of California due to the crime. I can understand that as a fellow resident there. Some areas are pretty rough.
St. Pete here doesn't exempt, and so is Tampa right here doesn't exempt. And at one point, it got really out of control where they couldn't even find the killer for like a week.
Anywhere you go, there's going to be crime for the most part.
And I have strong conviction that, you know, I'm going to be around here for a good minute because St. Pete is booming. It's changing. It's becoming like Silicon Valley here in St. Pete. And I know the streets here, left to right, up and down. There's more programs. I mean, there's, after a lot of things are set and done, I'm going to be walking barefoot out there in the streets, promoting Buddhism, just buying through this, and my students with me, to suffer with me, to sleep in the streets with me, and to spread the teachings with me, exactly identical like the Buddha. But for now, I just want to say that there's plans, but I haven't acted on those plans, nor I have tickets yet in my hands. So therefore, while I'm still here and still waiting for things that are pending to be completed, I wanted to give the idea, which I've given the ideas before. I just want to remind you all now that I want to hold urgent ordination program for those who are males and females of all ages that wants to come here and ordain for a week or 2 weeks. So I need to gather, you know, what it is that you want to do so I can organize in my head whether I'm going to hold it a week or 2 weeks. Again, everyone knows that my mode of teaching and engaging with the public is to meet them where they're at, gather information, and then come up with a good program that is acceptable to all, that is best fitting the masses of the people who I anticipate will come. What is the effects of that, of people coming here to ordain? The act of ordination is very humbling. I'm still pondering in my head whether the requirement of shaving one's head. And I'm also wondering if the ordination should be done publicly or privately. Obviously, we all know that how I feel about the ordination process. The traditional ordination process is quite lengthy and long. And quite frankly, I want to keep it short, concise, to the point. Again, in the days of the Buddha, he uttered 2 words and you were ordained. Ehi bhikkhu, done. You are a monk. And I'm well aware of the like 40-something pages that we have to go through for the ordination process. But this is a novice part-time ordination process only. It is not full-time. You are not going to become a bhikkhu. You're not going to become a bhikkhuni. Not yet. There are also layers of things that we have to do, vetting process for bhikkhus and bhikkhunis anyway. So therefore, the effectiveness of the novice program is most appropriate for those who are seeking that, to know what it is like to lower one's hair, come forth, take the precept, practice meditation, leave, just disconnect from the world, and to take that experience with you and know what it's like. And then you return back to your old life, and then you make your comparison. Your job is to experiment. It is a hypothesis. It is something that you come and you try, and then you're like, What people do not know is that I ordained him on a private ordination for just a couple of days, just so that I want him to what it feels like to be in orange and out in public, and you see that we didn't quite fit in.
Hmm.
And when you were bald headed and you were wearing orange with me, people stared at you. How does that make you feel?
To be honest, with what I was trying to do, it really didn't. Maybe a little bit of intimidation, but knowing what it was, the purpose was of it, yeah, that was more important than whatever other people were thinking. To be honest,
If you feel that you don't fit into society, well, guess what? Try the ordination process.
I can already feel like that just dressed as I am. So either way, it was fine for me at least. So
A lot of us don't fit in. A lot of us don't want to fit in. I totally get it. You look at the world, and it's a difficult place to trust, and we don't have a good. When you don't have a good working philosophy, you realize that what kind of lifestyle do I want? What kind of life do I want to live? You know, why are Buddhists so happy? Why are Buddhists so chill? Maybe I should really investigate what it is that they're doing right in their worlds and in their countries. Whom are dirt poor, but yet so happy. Happiest in the world, comparable to the United States, where which we got every single material things that you can imagine. And yet we are just so miserable to the point where we see our celebrities committing suicide. And so therefore, this requires a lot of deep reflection and contemplation about this is the world that we live in. Where do you fit in? Where do you want to fit in? What kind of life do you want to live? What is your definition of the good life? How are you easily moved by small things that's happening around you? Agitated, angry, excessive desires. You can't sleep. You don't feel good. You feel like hell. You look like hell. You got to ask yourself, how's everything going for you? We both have suffered. We both have suffered. We both have hit rock bottom. And now, like all of you see that he's former venerable Austin, something that I kept secret and silent until the right time is right. And I think you missed today's talk where I said that because we're catering and taking in Gen Zoomers and millennials, well, we're millennials, but we're like the Zoomers, and for all of the friends and family and assistants and former students who have graduated the program, I want to put them on the panel of Buddhist tribunal.
Mhm.
So the tribunal is the same as a court system,
Okay.
which we decide we have the opportunity to dissent or accent towards a student about their current situation, what they're doing, how they get here, where they're at within this program, and so on and so on. So everyone's weighted opinion, because for all, like Ty's hit rock bottom, you have hit rock bottom, I have hit rock bottom. Those who have gone through the first noble truth, the second noble truth, and third noble truth, those who have mastered the four noble truth qualifies to sit on the Buddhist tribunal.
Mhm.
To inspire other students, because when they see 3-4 people on the like a jury panel telling them things, it helps to literally crush their ego, the same ego that gets them into trouble with the law, with their parents, running away, using drugs, abusing, living a shady life, just all these things. Like, because I came from the judicial system, serving the judicial system, and I never wanted to disappoint the judges that I was serving.
Right.
And one time, Michael Jacobs went with me inside of the judge's chamber, and he gave us his encouragement to both of us. And because of those words of encouragement, Michael Jacobs became what he has become now. And then look, and I obviously hit rock bottom and then went back up. Just sitting here serving the people, to make them proud.
Right.
And a lot of students don't have people to um, they don't have a role model in their life. They don't have
Somebody to go to or seek some sort of validation or appraisal or whatever.
right.
Maybe.
So the Buddhist tribunal serves that purpose to give them encouragement, to tell them what they need to make changes in their life. Because sometimes one teacher tells them they don't really get it. Their ego doesn't want to accept that fact.
Mhm.
And we help them to exercise their intelligence, discretionary use, the skillful discretionary use of their intelligence to rise above the ego mind. And I got to give it to you, Sudi Burnett, who is a spiritual teacher that I work with and have done a lot of lives with on Instagram, always talks about the ego mind. And it like, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's her thing. But until I started to see it in my students, just the different types of egos that was trying to elude me, of which when I stood up and walked away from the table, you were able to observe
Yes.
the ego play out. The ego knows when the teacher is walking away and it manifests its true self.
Right.
And you saw it play out and you said, hey, Jidao, I think you need to see this.
Something worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's we have a lot of work to do. So again, those who are males and females that want to ordain, please reach out so we can talk. We have done our research onto the fees associated with the ordination. Number one, we need robes, more monastic robes. We already have a place to teach you guys, and right next to Blissful Beginnings is a hotel. So therefore, you literally rent your own room, stay in your own room, and walk over to Blissful Beginnings to receive your training. And then you can go back, you have that privacy and convenience right there. There's also a restaurant like right there at Bliss. It's so convenient.
A lot of convenience.
For this to happen. So the ordination, it's like, so you bear with me with the terminology and vocabulary that I'm using here to describe fee. It is more like a suggested donation. But why did I say fee and not suggested donation? What's going on here with these two usage here? So over the past 5 years, I've been doing a lot of Buddhist psychotherapy, counseling sessions, spiritual counseling, whatever you want to call it, with people. And I've noticed that people don't commit when things are free, because everything in this tradition is free. People just don't take it seriously. They don't commit to it. What did they teach us in counseling school, in LMHC, LCSW school? Is that even if we wanted to do pro bono work, they say charge at least $1, because they have to pay the dollar so that they are committed and dedicated to their own healing process.
Right.
When something is handed to them, they just take it for granted and they just drop out. The amount of dropout are very high, and it wastes a lot of time. And you got to understand, I've catered to thousands of people, serving thousands of people. I have the statistics in my head about, how many went through the program, how many dropped out, how many. It's not good with the statistics that I hold. So therefore, for those who want to take this seriously and not waste everybody's time that is involved, you all need to commit to it. So depending on the amount of people that is coming, I'm not sure the range that you all would need, but I'm assuming in my head that for a week, you probably need, I would say, $1,000 or $1,200 for living expenses, food, and our fees would probably range somewhere, God knows, from $200 to, it depends on the amount of, hold on here. Oh, sorry, it's a priority text. Anywhere from $200 to $500, depending if we have a lot of people, then that that obviously fee is lower. And if we don't have a lot of people and we still want to carry on with this operation, then it's, just just the way it is. When we have a lot of people, the expenses kind of go down, and just the details in the monastic economy, economics, monastic economics. But it has to make sense and it has to be reasonable, because again, I don't want people calling me out and be like, yeah, he's obviously doing this for the money, he's trying to blah 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 blah. Just as a celebrity monk, I don't exempt praise and blame. I get it all day, every day. Again, everything that I do has to be consistent, and it has to make sense in the eyes of other monastics and other senior teachers who are watching this all over the world. I am faced with tremendous amount of challenges. Previously, before this talk, you all see on Christmas, we were struggling to get cognitive behavior therapy books. It's something about America that just don't know how to give, and they just don't know how to contribute to community. So it's very frustrating about what's going on. And quite frankly, I will repeat it again. It is very monastically embarrassing for me to having to appear in the frequency that I have in making a compelling case where I need fundings, where I need books for life-saving programs. So what it means for you guys is that, number one, don't look at it as fees, or I got to pay this much. So look at it from a dana practice perspective, that you're contributing to Buddhism, you're contributing to the monastic order, you're contributing to your own well-being, the experience that you will get out of it, everything that is beneficial and pursuant to your spiritual growth and practice. Of course, for students who have financial problems, then of course we will discuss that also. I don't turn anybody away. That's always been my policy, not to turn away. It is only this year that the policy about how to get people to commit to their own change, and whether a fee associated with that is like a big question mark. Again, citing psychotherapy schools and what they told us about pro bono work and the effectiveness. We have to rely on the best available science, the effectiveness of that science, to help people help themselves. Literally, I've been giving out so many, everything, all giving. And you all see in return, they don't even wish me a Happy New Year. The thousands of students should be at least thousands of comments. I don't care. I don't do it for the praise. I don't do it for the comments. But again, there's this big shift in collective personality, collective self-centeredness, collective self-involvement that is not good. And teachers, we always tell you all, you want to be happy, give more, take less, as an experiment. Austin tried meditation and it worked like that. It's a rare instance that it worked quickly for someone like him. And of course, the same teachings apply to Austin. That Austin, when you have money or resources, time, energy, dedicate your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of humanity. And if you're not happy, if you're sitting here and you're not happy, and if you give, this is why, you have been receiving gifts over the past 2 days. And the person who's giving you the gift is always happy. You see that? Mm-hmm. They're happy, they're joyful because they're making you happy.
Right.
Then it should create a ripple effect for you, is that what you do with those resources in spreading happiness to other people. So you also don't exempt from my teachings. Is that you've tried meditation, you see that it works. And the next thing is to think about how you can contribute to humanity.
Right.
In the medical field, Austin, who is going into the medical field, sees in the hospital there is that little hallway of philanthropists. People who've donated from thousands to millions of dollars to make that hospital possible, and to contribute to people who are poor that needs a heart, lung transplant, kidney transplant, and to pick up on the bills for those who are in destitute need.
That's right.
And it is the same inspiration I get every time when I go in there for someone who is dying, sick, and I always find the generosity wall. And I go over there and I look at all the names, all of the MDs, all of the lawyers, all of the lay people, the Mr. and Mrs. that contributed to what's right about the hospital and their operations and their philosophies and everything. It brings tears to me. And just the energy of that wall alone, just being there, makes you want to give, makes you want to walk out and say, I want to be one of them just like that. But why do people not give? Because as soon as you walk out the darn hospital, I have bills. I have this. I have that. I want Oreo cookies. Me, my, I. And look at when you say me, my, and I, how much you suffer endlessly, matter of fact, until you start to see that when you desire less, you become more richer. And no one's ever been broke by giving. And I have offered my whole life for examination. One of the things about being a Buddhist monk is that you offer your life, and I have offered my life for examination. That means my past, what I have been doing, where I'm at, and where I'm going with everything that you all are seeing here. So you all can see that, and I've challenged the whole world. Now we'll repeat it again just for the sake of this talk, that anyone who finds someone in the entirety of the United States that says Chi Dao took more and gave less, I will renounce citizenship and disappear into Antarctica. I will sleep next to the polar bears and pet them and disappear. I don't know what I'll eat, probably salmon. So everyone who has grown up with me is still, majority of them, alive, easy to reach, easy to contact for testimonies. Couldn't make it any easier to verify the life of the venerable, and how much he has given to those who have he grown up with.
That's very true.
And it's not about me, but I have walked the path exemplary so that everyone can see that, and everyone can verify that, and everyone can see that this man became a monk for the right. Oh, give me 1 second. I got a priority call. Hello. Oh, Shamar. Yeah, we had a call at 9:30, right? Okay, so it went past the time, and I think my alarm didn't go off as I'm doing a live session right now. So yeah, I will call you right back after this because I think we're wrapping it up soon here, and I'll call you right back. Okay. All right. That is a scheduled one-on-one session 7 minutes ago. That um, I have so many cases that sometimes this happens where I forget. So uh, again, I need for the programs to work. I also need people to help out. I need people to share my teachings. I need people to. Oh, by the way, we have T-shirts now, and I don't have my other iPad here to show you the design of the T-shirt, but the T-shirt has this really nice circle, and it says Chi Dao, or I think School of Chi Dao, and it says Create a New World, Chi Dao, and it says Free Buddhist Education, Meditation, and Counseling. It has my phone number. The T-shirts are now $25. So Hari is in charge of that. She's in Colorado. She has her own company that prints it. She has everything. So I have decided to also authorize that program to get the word out about my team. I have left a library of teachings for the world to examine, to listen to practice. And I figure that, okay, well, Buddhism needs to be out in the streets. Your teaching in school needs to be out there, out and about. So I have decided to make that happen, and we will see how it goes. We have to think, we young monks have to think of ingenious ways to incorporate merchandise and social media and the merging of entertainment and education, because everyone's all into to entertainment. So how do we merge that together? It was an idea I got from Jay Shetty. And if we merge two together, which you all have seen some public service announcements, uh, we were like, oh wow, this is really entertaining, and that it is educational at the same time, and you get something out of it. Same thing with some of these YouTube videos that is educational documentaries, and then they make it just very entertaining, right? But again, Buddhist monks in first world countries, such as myself and others, have to think of all sorts of ingenious ways to inspire people, to get people. And I realize that people want something. Okay, so yeah, we tell you all to give more and take less, but then people don't want to pull out their wallets because they're like, I'm not getting anything out of this. So guess what? Now we have T-shirts. we got and then pretty soon, if the T-shirt program works out, we'll have hoodies, whatever the merchandise line needs to be to get words out about School of Jidao, about free Buddhist education, counseling, and meditation, so that the world becomes kinder, wiser, less violent. So think about that. The link to the new T-shirt program to expand Buddhism is on my link tree. Or you can go to etsy.com/shop/spiritual ninjas with the S, spiritual ninjas, and you will find it. But everyone who goes to any primary page, Facebook, Instagram, you click on the link tree all the way above where the profile is. Click link tree, and you will see all of the resources for those who are new to Buddhism, new to meditation, new to me, don't know who I am, what I do, what I've been doing, what I'm trying to do now. So okay. So yes, buy the T-shirt, tell your friends about it. Anyone who is stressed, depressed, anxious, they're listening to you. You are their friend. You are their friend, mentor, brother, sister, auntie, grandma, parent, mom, dad. And just sit with them and say, I don't think things have been going too well for you with the choices that you've been making, with the lifestyle that you've been choosing, with the friends that you've been hanging out. And you must ask yourself, what's going on here and how well it's working out for you.
Right.
And of course, the depressed person or suicidal person is going to tell you, I'm just pretending like you're depressed or something.
I guess assumed.
Yeah, go ahead. Reply. If I am your friend and I identify that you are depressed, and I said, Austin, I think that the choices that you've been making over the past year has not been conducive to your spiritual growth and development. And I think that maybe you should look at certain things. How do you feel about that?
I instantly start filing through my mind, looking at with what you're saying, what areas or aspects might complement what you're saying. So, yeah.
Somewhere down the line, you folks have to be skillful at telling them, like, would you ever think about trying Buddhism and meditation? Because there's this great teacher named Venerable Jidao that teaches it for free. And if you try it, maybe your life could improve in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, definitely with the teachings and the meditation. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but that was very awakening for me in many aspects of my life. So if I definitely meditation, I recommend it.
Best way to actually inspire other people is by and through your own change. And I would hope that this video reaches all of the people who have been following me for years, actually, and that you have been practicing, actually, and that has worked for you. And as that result, I mean, when something works for you, you talk about it and you practice it, and people see changes in you, in your life. Conversations just get around, and somewhere down the line, you inspire other people, multiple people, just the magnitude of people around you, individual context, societal context, thank you, community context, in your state, and then in our nation. So again, this year I want everyone to think about how you can help us change our community, our society, our state, whichever state that you're in, and subsequently the United States. I have unshakable faith and confidence that if we band together as Buddhists, we can make it happen. Surely we can make it happen. We don't really have any other choice or any other working philosophies for this country the way that it is going. This country and now Canada, who is now seeing a sharp decline in safety and the violent nature of crimes and everything like that. So again, this is a conversation that I'll be having with other monastics about what we need to do, go hands on, full deck in bringing Buddhism to society, making us more visible, accessible to the people. And quite frankly, the ordination thing is so that hopefully it changes some of you to the point where you do want to adopt this lifestyle. And I would love to see more people running around in robes with their arms sticking out and bald headed, because then everyone's like, wow, we have more Buddhists around the world. We're starting to see a shift and change. Things are safer in this area of the region because there's more Buddhists over here versus shootings on the other side of town.
That's right.
Where Buddhism flourish and thrive, you will flourish and thrive. When it just does. It just does. You do your research. What I'm saying here, you're all supposed to put it to the test. Okay, you all are supposed to put it to the test. You all are not supposed to believe me. Yeah, and when you verify everything that I have said in other Buddhist nations, you realize, oh, got it. We got it. You go out and you look at spirituality, you look at Buddhism, you look at meditation, you look at the amount of thousands of pages of research, books, research, authors, living people who have been just, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dwayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. Look, there's something there, right? They didn't waste their time and life on this had it not worked. And they believe that you could, in fact, achieve peace. And you can, in fact, achieve peace and others around you also. So again, Buddhism, a very comprehensive and effective educational system the world has ever seen. And right now, what the world needs the most. It is the one thing I believe that can repair the world, repair countries, repair leaders, repair our state of mind, repair our depression and anxiety, make us more connected, make us more feel connected to other people, places, so we're not so alienated right now. The magnitude of loneliness and how we're dying of loneliness, dying across the board, dying across every other country. We don't know how to talk to each other. We talk about each other, not to each other. Okay. Mistrust, supreme level of mistrust, suspicious of one's motives. Just all of these things that's drawing us away from other beautiful humans. So we first have to cultivate how beautiful we are and how we can inspire other people and lead them towards this same path, the one and only philosophy that is non-toxic, that is accepting to all, whether you're gay, straight, LGBTQIA+, whether you're weird, whether you don't fit in, you're a felon, you're a former. We don't care. We will accept you, right? And we will make you beautiful again. We can repair you. And that's why it's such a beautiful working philosophy. So again, I'd like everyone to reflect on all of this. I also want to disclose to you all that a monk, a Theravadan Buddhist monk, cannot ask you for money. And I can only make a compelling case so that you feel compelled enough to contribute to my cause and to Buddhism. But the only thing I can ask for is water. And what I have said previously is, in fact, yes, controversial, can and will be controversial, but it is necessary for us to ensure some type of peace, in the world. Contributing, mitigating, buying time that the world needs to figure this out. Buying time so that Buddhism gets to the right door, the right place, the right people, for it to just take effect. It will take years for it to start repairing. But we got to start somewhere, and someone's got to do it. And I've decided to be the face, the praise and blame face, and put myself out there in order for this to happen. Because quite frankly, you see that I don't really care about what other people think. You know, I've it's not like I don't like super duper don't care. I take everyone's comments, suggestions, recommendations into advisement. And again, I just want to do my part and my best to make an impact in the world. We got one life to live it well. And if we live it well, when we get older, we can relive it again. Right? One must ask, what am I doing? What am I doing to contribute to the world? I don't think for one second that each and every single one of you are insignificant to make a difference. I believe that every human is significant and that you can, in fact, make a dent in this world if you just put your mind towards it. It gives you purpose, it gives you hope, it gives you meaning in your life. My whole life, I've always thought that maybe one day, after all of my studies, that I would contribute back to the world. And that is exactly what I have done and is doing now today. So again, we need all of the monastics who are watching, we need to really look at making amendments to the rules in order for Buddhism to survive and thrive in an ever-changing, violent, secular world. And I hope that I receive blessing and support from the monastic order. But I am open to your weighted opinion and dissent as I anticipate that with some of these programs that I'm running, the Buddhism Without Borders program, in order to further my mission in the cognitive behavioral therapy program and rapid realization program in order to reduce student suicide and increase student resiliency. Even though it is targeted towards students, it is broad spectrum for all humans that walk on the face of this planet. So again, I'd like to conclude my talk to return to this scheduled one-on-one sessions with this new student, I believe from New York or something. We may appear again tonight, depending on the discussion that Austin and I will be talking. We have very deep, long talks about future programs and the appropriateness and just into the details. Do you think I left anything out?
I think we touched on everything for this talk, I believe. I mean, you got all your points across.
So I will call this one student and let me see if he wants to, if it's okay to do this together to inspire other people. Sometimes people don't want to be recorded. So, hi, it's Venerable Chidao. I'm still on my live, and I was just going to ask you, did you want our conversation to be private? Because no one can see you, they can only hear you, and if you share your story, you can inspire other people.
Sure, whatever works.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so you're on speakerphone, and
Okay.
please introduce yourself and tell me how you got to. I know that you sent a message earlier this
Right,
morning.
correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Shamar Barker, originally from Guyana, but I live in New York. I'm currently a student in my senior year at Binghamton University, and I'm studying GMAP, so that's genocide, the Department for Genocide and Mass Atrocity Prevention. I reached out because I feel like for the past like 2 years, I've been like kind of like taking my own advice in a lot of things, just like moving through life. I mean, I've done like some counseling and stuff, and just like kind of like trying to get to different goals in life, whether that might be peace or happiness or calm. So I feel like with counseling and with taking my advice, I felt like it would have been better to branch out and just like kind of like get more knowledge as far as how to like towards my goal of self-mastery. So that's one of my main like goals there.
What is your definition of self-mastery?
Being in touch with yourself, really. For me, I feel as if it's more so just kind of understanding you, watching your thoughts, how your emotion shifts, and knowing what direction you're going in life.
Mm. You are how old this year?
20. I'll be 23 in March, actually.
And this is a master's program that you're in?
No, I'm about to be in my master's program after I graduate in 24.
Tell me the program name again slowly. Genocide something?
So GMAP, so it's a genocide Department for Genocide and Mass Atrocity Prevention.
Oh, genocide and mass atrocity prevention. That's pretty awesome.
Correct.
I've never heard that study before.
Yeah, it's intense.
Austin, what do you think?
Sounds very, very important. Yes.
I heard genocide. I'm like, are you gonna become the next Hitler or what?
No.
It's actually the total opposite.
Opposite of that.
I was like, this call is monitored and recorded by the FBI. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Okay. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty. We need that. And you know what? In my live video just a couple minutes ago, I spoke about how people can make a difference in the world. And I mean, just look at this particular field of study.
Yes, for sure.
Furthermore, we had that Idaho guy that just got arrested for the 3 people that he killed, and he was a PhD student in criminology.
All right. Okay.
And clearly we see that there's a lack of morale, lack of a working philosophy of morale for these, for these students out there that are clearly, there is no question of intelligence, whether they are or not intelligent. They are intelligent, and it's a double-edged sword. If that intelligence is not directed towards the right way, for the right reason, and for the benefit of humanity, you see that it goes south very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
So you're interested particularly in Buddhism, and you chose me. Why? How?
Well, I actually came across your content on TikTok, and I feel like I was just supposed to reach out. I've been watching it for a while, like for a couple of months, mostly like the ending of last year. And then I saw that you have, people my age, students, who've been learning like a lot of like the psychology to it, and just like the religion in itself and its teachings. So I said, why not?
So at the time of this call, are you actively depressed or anxious or anxiety? Any mental health issues that I should be aware of in order to tailor a program for you?
Well, no, I would say I am. I'm motivated, I suppose. I just finished watching the movie Wakanda, and they had so much in there that was just, it was kind of like heavy. I don't know. So I guess this is a good backstory for this. I'm really into and really good at foreign languages, and so I heard there was the Mayan Yucatec that they were speaking on there, and a few other languages, and I just kind of like felt pulled to it, to learning it this year, and pulled to kind of like expanding my knowledge in that. So I feel very overwhelmed right now. Mentally though, I'm extremely happy. I'm at peace. I feel great. I've worked on it for a while over the years, so I've made it my mission to maintain that.
Anything that's stressing you out? Homeschool, work, relationships, love life, friends, peer pressure, weed, drinking, alcohol.
I'm mostly sober. I would say, that's an interesting question. Nothing that's directly stressing me out right now. No.
Because self mastery and spirituality is knowing oneself, right? Being in touch with yourself. True. So you would know if these areas are being affected.
I would say home. I would say home, because I take care of like my rent at school, so it's kind of stressful because I haven't had a job for a while. So that's kind of like piled up, like rent wise, it's piled up, and it's became something serious. So I feel like that's that could potentially be one stress, but I've kind of like put plans actively in place to like fix that, I suppose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you said home, huh?
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
relationship issues with your parents or siblings?
Well, no, because I mean, I feel like it helps that I don't live with them.
Mm.
And I feel like this past year also I've kind of like worked towards that, especially my relationship with my mom, because I've since realized that it's the most important one. So that's been like an epiphany I came to lately.
Mm. Any problem with concentrating? Any ADHD, concentrations, memory?
Concentration sometimes, because I read a lot of papers. Sometimes I would procrastinate it because I can't concentrate in a specific moment, but typically it's kind of like something I wait for to come back to me. It's weird. I wait for kind of like my thoughts to almost settle.
Mm. What do you do when you're not schooling? Any hobbies?
Oh, I actually keep very busy. I cook a lot. I bake a lot. I do. I started Taekwondo last semester, so that was good because I got my first 2 belts. I'm really into fashion, so I keep up with a lot of that, and I binge Netflix probably too much.
That's awesome. Seems like a pretty well-rounded life, you would say, yes?
Yeah, I suppose. I feel like this year, my most my goal, I suppose, is relationship-wise, like love life. I feel like that's something that I'm really trying to work towards because, according to my counselor, I do a lot of self-sabotaging as far as that's concerned. So I'm hoping to maybe speak up more this year, or be more confrontational about situations when they're happening, as far as my love life is concerned, so that I don't like get the same results I've been getting for the longest.
I see. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've been hitting the right questions here, trying to narrow it down. Now you see why the one-on-one sessions is important.
For sure. Yeah.
So let's start you off with the cognitive behavioral therapy program. Are you aware of that?
I'm not.
Okay, so it's a 300-page book, very easy to read. It's like 10th grade level book that will go through self-esteem, self-concept, self-value, the identification of any depression or anxiety. It will just go through the whole checklist for you to rule out things that you have had, is having, or is about to have, so that CBT has been around. It's been researched over the past 50 years. It's got so many thousands of pages of research behind it. Its clinical effectiveness and cognitive behavioral therapy. All therapy means is that it's just information, right? It doesn't mean that I'm diagnosing you. It does not mean that you have PTSD, you have this, you have that. But if we want to improve quality of our relationship, especially romantically, I mean that's pretty much everybody. You want to be loved and you want to love. You got to rule out certain things that your mind's been tripping about.
For sure.
So CBT helps you understand the mind and how it jumps to conclusions, how it blows things out of proportion, what's keeping you from fully effectively communicating with your partners and labeling your feelings. There are certain feelings that you are not even aware that, oh, I realize that's anger, that's sadness, that is, so on and so on.
Right.
If we can get a PhD in communication, you realize that communication is one self-mastery skill that you have to master in order to live a full, fulfilling life.
Yes.
So if you send me your email, I'll send you the CBT book, and I leave it up to you. Usually you check in with me on a weekly basis, choose a day and time, and then I ask you how many chapters have you read, what it means to you, what you got out of the book, and try to keep a journal as you're doing this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll get a new one because I've been journaling for a few years now, so I'll just get one for that.
Good. The journal, as you are aware, it helps you see things. Sometimes we're blind to ourselves, and sometimes we're blind to the things that we do.
Right.
And it also helps you measure your progress along the CBT program.
Sounds good.
Mm.
I'll show you my email.
So we'll start you off with CBT first, and then once you get done with the CBT book, if you read it fast enough, you can get it done within like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I did
You
it
said how many pages?
300.
Oh, that's a good amount.
Not real, but yeah, but the words are so big. The words are so big that it actually
Oh, right.
it's kind of like 200 pages to me because I finished it in 2 weeks when I was 23 years old.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
When I was
being in this, I being in like school and stuff, and with my major, I do a lot of reading, so probably a few hours. But to really, I feel like reflect on a lot of things, I would take a couple of days with it for sure.
oh, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start you off with that, and then once I see that I'm gonna measure, ask the professor how you read, how you remember, what it means to you. I'm gonna use a whole scientific rubric system to measure your studying and how effective it is, how CBT has been effective towards your life, the applications of it towards your life. And then from there we move towards Buddhism, and that's how it's going to work, because I assert that it's harder to study Buddhism and meditation if you have some of these things that's pending on your shelf.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
Any questions, clarifications, confusions so far?
No, everything's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. And hopefully one day, if you would like to share some of the programs that you study in your bachelor's program about this very unique program that you're engaged in, I would love to have you talk while I record live stream so that people we raise awareness into hate crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, crimes against people, crimes against the elderly, crimes against Jewish, crimes against gays, crimes against children, crimes against everybody, crimes against
Right.
blacks. I think that your field of study is extremely necessary and salient to what we need at hand right now, just raising the awareness of this particular area of education.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind. That'd be something I'd love to do.
So yeah, so think about that. I think that would make your life meaningful and purposeful, in just sharing what you have studied, and it's kind of like show and tell.
Yes.
And I leave it up to you to get creative, whether you want to do PowerPoint or you just want to talk about it. You want to review your notes that you've been taking over the past 4 years in college.
Right, okay.
It should, it's just something to get your gears moving.
Okay, that sounds good.
Prepare. It's a good review too for your master's program.
Oh yeah, it would be sure, because it's just too much materials to cover in one semester.
Okay, so I'm gonna save your number. And I just want to review here real quick. I just want to see. Is that you in the? Oh yeah, that's right, from Guyana.
Yes.
This is him, Austin.
Oh, okay.
Smart and good-looking guy, obviously into fashion.
Thank you.
I think that my ex-girlfriend was also from Guyana.
Really?
Does the last name Jaiwan sound?
That sounds Indian. Was she Indian?
Yeah, she was. But then I swear I remember she said she was from Guyana. I don't. It's high school sweetheart thing.
Oh, okay. Probably been a while.
Yeah. You sound very intelligent, and
Thank
you're gonna figure this out about yourself quite fairly quickly. I've been very fortunate to have intelligent students.
Yes, thank you. I hope I do.
So very good. So yeah, just send me your email and we'll get started.
Okay.
And we'll touch base next week. And if you need me any sooner, just reach out to this just text me. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Nice meeting you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Happy
You
New
too,
Year.
Shamar. Yeah. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Thank you. You have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
What the world just observed there was a sample counseling session with a new student, and I got a lot of new students. Sometimes every time I do this live thing, people are always, how can I be your student? And that's the first step is to, God, I move like I'm pregnant. It just, I was like, this couch. You would reach out to my Instagram and then I get to know you, I want to ask these questions again. Initially, it started out as if a well-rounded young, like, why- it sounds like there's no issues. What's going on?
Right.
Until I circle around and around and around, I start pinpointing target specific what's affecting one's quality of life. So once we identify that, typically CBT is the general recommendation unless there's something more serious, more pressing, and of clinical concern. But anyways, you guys got a sample of that, and that's exactly what it means on the shirt. When you guys get that shirt that I was talking about earlier, it's that free Buddhist education, counseling, meditation and counseling, and what you call all see is, and then many. If you wanted to know like a full session is like, it's all on my YouTube. And right now, I want everyone also to consider subscribing on YouTube, because we've had so many issues this morning alone with Facebook failing on both accounts. For a Dhamma talk like this is very important. Everyone who's Buddhist realize the value of a Dhamma talk, the saliency of a Dhamma talk. And so for Facebook to fail in that alarming frequency while a monk, what if I didn't have backups? This is why I have backups, because I don't trust technology. So I'm encouraging everyone to go to my YouTube as a unifying platform. And also, when I'm out and about, the only thing I typically do is activate YouTube, because then I can share the YouTube across everything else. So again, everyone be well. Austin and I are going to take a break, probably take a walk, further our conversations, probably eat a snack. But thank you all for joining our live, and hopefully we see you a little bit later in a couple hours or so. Okay.